Yeah, yeah. You can see the kitty cat's right there on the bed. He looks huge. Looks like he's taken up the whole length of the bed. He is. So I just made it through 3 days of chemotherapy, and as much as they talk about that sort of thing, as being harsh, I don't find that chemotherapy is as bad on me as what's coming tomorrow. Or should I say today? Because now it's like 2:30 in the morning, and at 12 noon I get my immunotherapy injection, which is designed to, excuse me, that was a sneeze. I'm sorry, and I hit stop, so I'll have to fuse it together with the program. Something I'm just learning to touch base on. I So the immunotherapy is designed to elicit a response by me producing more white blood cells through my bones and my joints, which shuts down all essential um, growth. So anything that requires energy, uh, like hair, it eliminates it. So it it stops hair growth. It stops cellular growth. Um, that's why folks bruise easily, when they're under such a thing. And it's why my system shuts down as far as my digestion because it's unnecessary that the body's doing something on a greater function. So it's very difficult. And there's been suggestion that you should fast before chemo and fast after, but they're not specifically telling you which portion of the chemo. Because if I go 4 days of fasting and get to the immunotherapy, well, then I've just killed myself. I've just harmed my system. Yeah, you need nutrition. It's one of the most important things. So there's a level of using medications to adjust one thing over another, and there are no instructions. No, because every cancer is different. Everybody's response, everybody's immune response, and everybody's protocols are different. They're protocols, what the doctor is actually administering. Nobody's taking the same drugs. So there is no consistency at all. No, you have to find it yourself. So it's very difficult. They say to stay with carbonated drinks, and here I am drinking a carbonated drink. And I just had a THC edible, and I don't think they were expecting that. So whoever lined up what it is that I'm requiring didn't anticipate that one of the things and key tools that I would be using would be THC product. Can't smoke anymore. I can't take particulate into the lung ever since bronchoscopy. I could smoke right up to that, but after they did the lodge and damage to my lungs, they did that um, with their interns, and I even have a bill to show for it. Can you believe it? I have a bill. Wow, something I always wanted. Now I can open up a bank account. Yeah, cool. I can prove residency. I can do all those things. I'm free and free to be part of the Fed system. Yeah, the Fed system. Well, there's we the people, and then there's the Fed, those who are being fed. And I'm feeding myself. I am. So I'm not utilizing, not in that capacity. So anyways, good luck. Cheers to me for 12 noon. Last time it took me 5 days to get my system in order to even deal with it. Coming out of the bathroom 6 times in a row in one morning. It just is not a pleasant experience. Now being all bound up and nothing's working and you're just bloated. And you're hungry because the THC product wants to push more food in, so you push more in and nothing comes out. Well, something's got to give, and that's what I got to go through. So I'm only authorized for 4 of those immunotherapies, and that's where I'm going to be at, really. Well, actually, they're knocking out the fact that I didn't have an immunotherapy in the hospital. I had chemo just to see if I could tolerate the chemical. Plus, they put fill you full of saline, and they give you pre-meds that are designed to help you with nausea and all that stuff. And I do well with the chemo, obviously, but so they didn't start the immunotherapy until after the first round in the hospital, and then I had my first round at the oncology building. So they consider the 3 rounds on the oncology building as being 3 rounds. So now I still have another 4th round, which is at the end of this month. Probably somewhere close to the very, very end, the last week of this month. And then I'll have finished the 4 rounds. And then from there, it'll be chemotherapy and then diagnostics tests, I imagine. And then the decision to get off or stay on. There's been no talk of reactivating the immunotherapy later unless my white blood count drops. That's the whole deal. Once it drops, then they have to do something. Otherwise, I'm walking around with no immunity at all, and I'd catch everything that's in sight. So this is why I don't wear a mask in public or at the facilities around other sick people, because I do have my white blood count in check. So my body's able to fight uh, whatever comes around naturally. But that's not what I want to talk about. It's not really what I want to talk about because it's not what I like to share. It's not what I find joy in. It's just something I'm going through. It's something that I think that is on the increase. It could be for any reason. You could be a non-smoker your whole life and get lung cancer. And we already know that the proven facts behind glyphosate use. And I don't know if you guys notice, but if you're into garden channels and plant channels and things like I am, you'll notice that there's an increase. Okay, a little turkey tail. There's an increase of videos being published right now within the past day or two to a week about invasive species and how all these botanists and all these they're fed facilities of federal monies are being told to push the narrative that we have to remove invasive species from the environment, almost like having a white list of plants that are approved or not approved that can't be in our forest. And they show this one liberal, fat, pushing mama with a backpack of glyphosate walking through a natural forest setting, which is a path, it's a public park with a path with signs and everything, spraying a certain plant that she considers invasive to her region. She's in Michigan. Well, honey, that shit don't dissipate. No, it accumulates. It accumulates in the environment. And then it causes lymphomas in animals, especially like what we went through with Redmond. It's ridiculous. What are you doing? So they're willing to destroy the world for their own world without realizing that they are the invasive species right now. This liberal agenda, democracy based, Biden funded bullshit. And the irony that they're now opening up all of the dams in South Texas again that they haven't had to do since Hurricane Harvey in 2017. They're doing it again. Now, they're not giving anybody a reason. Is there a hurricane coming up? Is it because of the hurricane season that's coming up that the lake is full and they need to set the dams in motion so they're flooding people out again? Well, no, we just saw the article on Tyson Foods. Ever since 2018, all the way from 2018 to now, they've been dumping tons and tons of toxic waste, phosphates, and all kinds of materials into our waterway systems, into our ground table, into our rivers, into our streams, into our lakes, into our reservoirs. And so the only way to do it is to splice it back into the ground, hide it. All our reservoirs are sick. You better not be eating the fish. No, there's enough cancer in this world. It's so sad. It really is so sad. And there are old ancient measurements that are known how to regenerate groundwater properly for beautiful produce, for food and life, to regenerate the body. And yet we act like we're ignorant monkeys, playing in our universities and our colleges as if we're going to save Hamas when it's actually in the White House. Can you not see that? And in the Supreme Court. It's infiltrated across the board. Across the board. They've all been dumbed down to it. We are not a democracy. We are a republic for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible. And the thing is that we are Jerusalem. We are Jerusalem. JERUSALEM. We're the spiritual portion of Egypt and Sodom, where our Lord was crucified in the heart of a nation, one nation under God. Just one nation under God. Yeah, and the false state that was created by the Nazi to Nazi is the same as the abomination which causes desolation through nuclear energy, power, and control, through utilities. Yeah, you're strapped. They own you. They tax you without representation. They put fees and services upon you, and then they manipulate what? Our elections. So this is that one generation given. Last year on 2/23/2023, it was exactly, excuse me, get the hiccup burpee belchies, especially helps with that. It was exactly 77 years, 7 months, and 7 days since the detonation of the atom bomb, the abomination. And the overspreading is through the womb, through the child. You, them, us, we, it, them. The FBI is a BFI, a big effing industry. It is nothing more than a great big FIB. They're built into themselves. Look at what they did with Trump. They gathered all that paperwork and then they put it in folders, but they mixed what they put in each folder. They just put it equal amounts in each folder so that the tabletop picture looked like all these classified documents. And when in fact you open it up, these are folders provided by the FBI, and they mixed all the documents. It's all false against Trump. But yet Robinette can leave his old mansion behind filled with national security information so that he can play the Robinette. How sick. How sick. And to cover up the atrocities of this nation, because you keep lowering the standards, you're making everybody sick. They're all sick. Maybe they discovered the little white pill. I don't know. The little savior pill. Who knows? I don't know. I don't really care. So, anyways, this month is all about the hand. We don't know which one. The right hand knows not what the left hand does, and there's a purpose behind that. Just as we don't understand the left from the right. No, because it's misconstrued through the media, which is Media USA, which is the Medusa through pharma. Yeah, is that and war is their biggest contributor. Yeah, it is. They don't want to cure anything. I mean, there's good-hearted people behind everything, but it doesn't mean that they're in any position to make any changes. They can only believe that they're helping, and they find themselves being a portion to it. Now, how they reconcile is up to them. Most of them go dementia. Most of them have already lost their families and lives, and, well, they've already forsaken themselves. Maybe. But then maybe there's one that held on where all the rest let go. And there's a big difference. So today, what is today's date now? Today must be what? Because I think we passed the ninth, didn't we? No, yesterday was the 8th. I think yesterday was the 8th. Today's the ninth. Oh, it's 3:11 in the morning. It's the ninth. So the hand is upon the year, because the month is upon the year before it's upon the day. The greater is the year, then the month amount of time, and then of course the amount of time with the day. So the year equates to the number 8, which is power and control, which is the timepiece. It's the hourglass. It is perdition if it's left intact. If it can be turned over, it keeps going and going and going lifetime after lifetime. But within each one of those turns is a return, as it is a refresh, but with the wiping out what was. So you lose your memories. Yeah, to the past, and then it's given back to you. If you awaken in the present. I don't think that you can open the future with it, because as it stands, the keys are all switched. I'm taught about that. Earth, air, fire, and water. And the cup overfloweth. So we know who's responsible. And the air is in air, as the air, the inheritor. And they're in trouble. And the fire doesn't give shit, just burns things down without realizing the budded rod should not be there. It's the sword. The earth requires the budded rod to be stuck back in the ground so that it can regenerate life. That's why I don't believe in cremation. I don't want to be cremated. I want my body to lie still. I want my body to become dust. Yeah, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. If you go into the fire, you go directly into God in consumption. He consumes you. You no longer are what you were. No, it's not what you eat that you become. It's what consumes you that you become. So you no longer exist. No, there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forget. There's nothing to remember. No, we should wake up to the soul body above so we can find everlasting life beyond the perdition of that hold of time. So the hand that's upon time, or the rule breaker, because that's what the 5 represents as change, to break the rules, to break the covenants, the bonds, that which binds you, to break time itself, to shatter time, to separate time. So the hand has the possibility of taking a portion of time. Excuse me, apologize. So here we have the 13. A better way to do it. It almost seems like someone's trying to initiate it anyways. Yeah, it's all written in the stars, isn't it? It's written in your book. It's written in your stars. You can't see beyond the story that's in the book because you can't see the story that's in the stars. You can't. You can pretend to. You can watch all those little Matrix videos and whatever you might have it that want to teach you about it. But in consensus, you can't. No, you can't remain anonymous, and expect the collective to take a hold of an idea. No, they have to be taught as if they never remembered. And it takes a lot of explanation to get them to grasp the idea that there's a pathway. There are neurons that can travel in different directions and reach the same point of conclusion, but with a better answer. Yeah, because what are they selling? It ain't for sale. Never was. Chapter 13, Revelation. No man may buy or sell. It's in the temple that the Lord turned over the money changers. So it's in the body. He tells you it's the body. So what are you buying and what are you selling? You're buying your faith. You're selling God. And you are false prophets. So, in light of all of that, we should awaken and we take that chapter 13 or that 13 that's created, which is set apart like the roof. So it's from the left. It is coming from the left. It's coming from the darkness. It's coming from the matrix, which is the womb, which is space above that of time. When you look out at space, you see the past. You don't see the future. No. So, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. Yeah, Lord knows who's going into the sea or who lives in the sea. That's why I keep coughing. And today, the 9, the spirit. So the 13 upon the spirit is itself. The 13, the door. So it's a door. It's a door. And we're going to go up to the door. We're going to knock on the door, or we're going to go up to the door and answer a knock that is occurring on the door, so that the Lord may come in and sup with us. Yeah, so that we can gain a better enlightenment of what our situation, our predicament is, and move forward. In spirit, anything that stands next to spirit is what it is. Let he be holy still. Let him be unjust still. Let him be righteous or unrighteous still. Let him be filthy still. 22:11. Yeah, chapter 22:11. A reflection of the 22 in 2. Yeah, a parallel, a pair of L. They're brothers. L is L, he who fell and went to hell. So there's two suns, binary. One is dissipated. One is nothing but an interstellar fluff, a cloud encroaching upon the soul body, as one body would. Twins, brothers. So it's the prodigal son. He gets in line with the servant. Well, the servant is the millstone, a mighty millstone, which is in two parts, that should strike the foot of that great statue of immortality. Yeah, that which says I'm immortal, which says I'm mortal. Yeah, but aren't we? So the secrets in the passages are there, if we can hear the living word speak to us. There's so much to share. The sun is the sun. The sun is the sun. And there's two suns. One is the accuser, who is above us, as that lake of fire, as that threatening lake of fire, that I will throw you in the fire if you don't believe me. And you will worship me in heaven as I hold this scroll, an angel of light. He's the accuser. That's our son. He covets his own brother's creation, he who wallows in the swine, the dissipated interstellar fluff. is Lucifer. El is El. So El Shaddai. Huh. Yeah, and there's seven churches between them, or seven wandering stars, which are as angels over seven churches. So in turn, each portion of the body is lit up by way of breaking the seals, which elicit the trumpets and the bowls and the vials. Yeah, by the Lamb with seven eyes. If we can grasp that it's in this reality, we can accept. We can accept without loss, without fear, certainly, to open those doors so that we may sup together. Sure, so that you and I can sup together. That'd be very important. So, of course, then tomorrow we have the big feat, right? That's Friday. The one eye, the one with the zero, the 10, the patch over one eye. Yeah, and I guess it could lead either way because it depends on how you're appearing it, how you're looking at it, as to which eye. There's a recent incident that took place, and I think about the the three unclean and how they're represented as three religions. Religion is that which was in the grave with the man, but then entered the swine who threw themselves in the sea, and the sea are the people. So it's religion. Three unclean religions would be the beast as being Judaism from the start, the earth sign, the fire sign being that of the false prophet Islam, and the water sign being that of Christianity, the cup that runneth over, the dragon himself, the Christos, the Mithra head, the sun above you, the one that is acting as the lake of fire who's going to be all consuming. Yeah, he'd rather consume it than allow his brother to rise up and be remembered, to be restored. To accept the servant? No, he's not going to do it. He'll say he gave up his only begotten son and that he himself is God, placing himself as God. Yeah, so that's all wrong. So as the keys are opened, we realize we can walk right through this whole doorway. We can see the reasoning behind each placement and through time, as it was for our own purposes and benefits, so that we can remember the soul body as one, as they're rejoined. Yeah, the bright and the morning star. So the the accuser, which is the sunlight itself, the sun, and then the destroyer, that which comes. But see, Ariel's in a dream of destruction. Ariel as a city, as spiritual Israel, spiritual Jerusalem, is trapped in a dream of destruction, living it out in reality, not realizing that the destroyer is the deliverer. But yet, in the left side of the story that we see in front of us, that's how they benefit themselves, is by making war and destroying. They don't want to make things that are fixed and permanent and beautiful and right. They don't, because then there's nothing to replace. There's nothing to fill their pockets. Because why? Chapter 13, of course, we're in that situation, the mark of the beast. Yeah. So the prodigal son gets in line with the servant as the destroyer, and together again they are the bright and morning star, no longer separated. You know, it's so difficult for us as a creation to find ourselves so flawed. Yeah. But when a creator destroys that which he creates, he destroys himself. Can you see me? The N-A-M-E, N-A-M-E is the name. Yeah, it's the living word versus the written. It's the ability to adapt, to change. Yeah, not evolve. Adaptation, not evolve. Spontaneous creation. That's the truth. I'm sorry for the liberal agenda. I'm sorry for your mind wiping. I'm sorry for your consumption. Can Lucifer be forgiven? Only if man can be. And man was destroyed in a great flood. We were made in their image. We're told that. We were placed in an ark, 2 by 2, along with our fellow brethren. We were told that. And we have awakened to the memories of Nimrod and all the rest. Sure, he who built the tower. So, anyways, speaking of the thief, that four places itself onto the thief, and then there comes the other hand. So we don't have to worry about a thing. No, if we can honor the mother and the father. Yeah, that's what we're told. And so we honor space and we honor time. It creates that everlasting effect. It's the year. Yeah, we have all year, don't we? So I guess I'll be around till December. Jeff had a reading. He's a Capricorn, Earth sign. And Earth had sign had a reading that they would be free of all their misery by December. Okay, that's truth. That's all I can expect. I can keep my ears and my eyes open, try to make the proper changes. Yeah, or I can accept and just say, well, I failed and I couldn't achieve. That many are called and few are chosen. But who are they chosen by? When I have people online that say that I'm full of bullshit, I don't know what I'm talking about. Makes no sense to me. When they're teaching about lizard folks, so sad. If there are old sons of God, well, I mean, I should say, if there's a new sons of God, then you know there's old sons of God. And before the new can take place, the old have to fall in place. Yeah, their time is done. It's over. Maybe that's what I was, an old sons of God. Maybe that's why I can remember all these things. So the calling is just to share, to let go, to accept, to forgive, so as to forget. That's what my name Manasseh means, the house of Manasseh. God makes me to forget, so that I may forgive, because I'm going to get it. You're going to get it. He's going to make sure you get it. Yeah, a big old Mithra in the sky, right? Well, that's why I have 7 eyes. So, anyways, have a wonderful day. I'm going to have to eventually go back to bed, but I don't have to. This could be a day for me, from the start of the day, which I came back from chemo and just passed out. And I slept from 2 o'clock until 11 o'clock. So that was 9 hours. And now I'm awake and I just had dinner because I had made dinner before, the day before. And so it was leftovers. And having a little glass of spritz. And I just had a marijuana chewy. And probably two of them because I think I took one at 11. So now that it's 5 hours, that's a good enough time to feel good again. Give it a little burst. And I took another gummy. And so I could be up for a little while. And then even if I'm most of my watering is done. And all I have to do is just be taken to the clinic for 5 minutes at 12 noon. Well, they give me an injection in the belly. I could have it in the arm, but what good does it do there? Go directly to the belly. And it's such a tiny needle, I can't even feel it in the fat, what little fat I have. Yeah. And then carry on because then it's going to get real disruptive, like I said. You may not hear from me for about a week. His first time was 3 days. And the second time in the oncology ward, and the second time was 5 days this past time. And I assume that this time it may be up to 8 to 10. Yeah, and I have 21 days till my next round. So they give you a window to recover, but it sure is a small window. I get a lot done in that window when I'm feeling okay. Get all my flower beds done and get seeds planted and still pulling weeds. I've yet to mow because there has been no rain. We haven't had rain since December, I guess. That was a little spritzel we might have had, and a little spritz from L, the accuser. And we would know that the two witnesses hold back the rain during their testimony, Lord knows. So I'm willing to accept that. But city water is shitty water, and it's designer water, as they pump in chemicals to override this. It's the same as chemo, what's going on with the body. And some plants can't tolerate the water as it's in its condition as it is now. So it kills certain plants, suspends them until the rains come to regenerate them. Yeah, to wake them up or to pull them through. I've been watching this for a long time. Yeah, for a very long time. Yeah, the truth will set you free, but the destroyer comes to deliver thee. Those who seek the king must be delivered unto the king. And so that tells us right there that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is in the grave fulfilling 3 days as he's the first witness unto God, Almighty Yah, two hands. He could see them both. And he came as the king, but they didn't accept him, did they? Hosanna, Hosanna, Rosanna, Rosanna, Dana, Dana. So he brought a white colt for his messenger. Yeah, he did. So the king is in the grave, fulfilling 3 days as one day is but 1,000 years. Yeshua HaMashiach ben David came upon thee, Israel, Judah, or at least not Judah. I think we considered them Judah then. No, Judah's black. The truth be known, the tribe of Judah is black. And DNA is Dan, the mixed race man. And so most are unaware of who they are, with the hand that's been placed upon them. So they awaken to the sins of the fathers, of many fathers. Hallelujah. Ha as the breath as the mother, as the Ruach, set apart, the Mary, which is the bee, if man can be, upon three fathers, El, Lu, Ya. Yeah. And that's held through RNA. So Dan and Ran. They say that it was, yeah, Jack and Jill who ran up that hill. Well, it was probably Dan and Ran. Dan and RNA. Yeah, DNA and RNA. The female and the male. Yeah, the messenger sent. So space and time. I'm time. He is space. Through the mother, we honor the mother, we honor the father. I am of the mother, but into the light. Yeah, for purpose. Yeah, irony. It's irony. Yeah, it's my childhood name. I was looking at I was feeling a little nostalgic, and something struck me, and I was looking for someone's name, and she came up on an obituary for my aunt. So it's so funny. I'm looking for someone, and I look up their name on the internet. And their comment that they made on an obituary showed up, and the obituary is for my aunt Carol, and they sing carols, praises in heaven, hallelujah. And so I pulled it up and I read her comment. It was really sweet because this individual that I know that I was looking up was um, my babysitter, one of my babysitters as a child, and who was friends as a teenager with my Aunt Carol, because my Aunt Carol was probably like an adult figure. So she died in 2012, but I wouldn't have known that because no one told me. I was estranged from my family long before, since 2008. So I had no connection with my family. I had no way of discovering any of this unless I had looked it up. And if I had seen my Aunt Carol's obituary, I would have signed it. So I went ahead and signed it since 2020, 2012. But the nostalgic feeling of what was going on, that I started looking up other people. And I was really shocked to see that my baby brother, my youngest brother, who would be about 53 going on 54 this year, um, it showed, this one site showed all of his different moves, places of his residency. It doesn't give me the address. It doesn't give me phone numbers or email. It just tells me these are the cities that he was portioned to. And it took him all the way to Hiram, Maine, Solomon's Temple. Yeah, so he's probably apportioned to some monastery somewhere as a monk, born again monk, probably. I've always seen him as a priestly kind of person. He's Catholic, not by birth, I think by choice. By being raised in El Paso, he became you know, a injected Catholic. Yeah, by way of his girlfriends. My oldest brother's conversion Catholic. I don't think my youngest brother is, but in my mind's eye, I see a priest. Yeah, priest. That would make sense. Although my baby brother, was born in El Paso, Texas. He's the only one of us that was born away from the East Coast. Yeah, so he's post East. I have to pause it and clear my throat. Hold on. Whew. I don't normally have those happen while I go into a cough fit, but I did take in a lot of um, health food stuff, whole food stuff, pills, vegetable, fruit, supplements, and I also took a fiber drink. Old people need to take fiber, and so I took a fiber drink today, hopefully to get everything established for morning and get in preparation for my, you know, constitutions and then all that stuff. It's funny how this new life of mine of cancer has infiltrated every part of my life, but it does that to people until I can overcome that portion of it, and then get off the immunotherapy. Once I do, my hair will start growing, hopefully stronger than before. And the habits that I reintroduce of supplements and fiber and watching my diet, things like that, not smoking. And I never had a problem with alcohol. In my past, I did, but not in my future. I never considered myself an alcoholic. I never went beyond that threshold like my father did, or my sister. I don't know, maybe my brother Rick. I always felt that Rick was an alcoholic, but that was because of his younger years. He could have done it the same as I did, just given that sort of thing up. Unless he was forced to give it up, and then he would go back to it as an adult, maybe. Maybe. So, anyways, I was nostalgic, and I saw all this stuff with my brother, and then my oldest brother, and then I saw that how they're all connected to El Paso. I'm to Las Cruces. I was in a Las Cruces address. So that makes me feel that it has something to do with the sale of my mother's house and her will, that every thing would be apportioned through my brother Rick since he was the executor. And somehow or another it connected to their LinkedIn profiling, I guess. How ridiculous. And to me, I see that as all criminal activity, hiding your criminal. But in one of them, what I was going to get at was under my brother, my youngest brother, it lists people who they're related to, and it said Ron, middle initial E, and it was in parentheses, Haskell. Now, I was Ronald J. Hulse before I changed my name to Ron Haskell. I dropped the ALD on Ronald. I dropped the J, dropped my middle name, and I dropped my last name. And I took on my mother's name, Haskell. Ron Haskell. That's it. There's no middle name. It's been that way since 2006, legally through I filed a petition to the court. I don't use it as an alias. I do not use my old name at all. And so it's just irony that it's I, Ron E. Haskell, under my youngest brother's whatever connection he has on my. I noticed that all my family, everybody that's related to me, hides from social media. Hides. You cannot find them. No, no, they don't use it. Mm-mm. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. No, because it's all criminal activity. And I think it's because the matriarch is still alive, which is low rain. Low rain. I don't have any rain. Where's my rain? I need to feed my plants. I need my plants to, I need my grass to be green. Yeah, I do. And so there's a low rain that's still alive. She's 70. She lives in Fort Myers, Florida, somewhere, something like that, living off of her own story. But she sure can deliver herself when she needs to. Yeah, a wicked walking corpse of a woman. Yeah, she has forgotten how to love. She's consumed a lie, whatever that might be. I still don't know. We saw what you wrote. We saw what you wrote. Well, tell me, what did I write 100,000 years ago? What did I write? Because whatever it was that I wrote, I remember, but I can remember that moment that I wrote it and why. And if that's what you want to know, then let's cry or try. But no, they don't tell me that. We saw what you wrote. So it's contempt. So we wake up with everlasting life or everlasting contempt. And sadly, perdition is everlasting. Perdition is the number 8. That which is the 6, which is the man. That's the universal year I'm in now, which is of the 7, which is the L turned over. It's the angle. It's the graduation. It's the memory. The 7, which is of the 7, of the memory. That's the old sons of God. The man with the 7 is the old sons of God, which then that 8 and 7 create 15, which is a 6, born on the 15th. Revelation 11:15 tells you that the Christ is not the Lord. It tells you the Lord and of his Christ. And it's on the section with 2 witnesses so that you can make the connection, so you can see it for your own eyes. That fire can fall inside of men, it's themselves. That we can walk upon water, that turning it to blood, we can do all those things greater than he. And then, where was I getting at? I've already got lost. I lost my signal. Oh, and then it becomes the eight. That which becomes the eight goes into perdition. Perdition is everlasting. Now there's two hands. So in everlasting, there's two hands, two sides to the eight, right? So there you go. Everlasting life or everlasting contempt. That's perdition. And yet you're willing to condemn all of perdition, condemning yourselves, preventing yourselves from awakening, coming out of the grave, realizing you are but a headstone trapped on the horizon, the whore rising. That's ready to receive a mighty head wound that can recover and leads you to that place you don't want to be, that you fear so much. The 13, which is the Ruach, set apart as the Spirit, as the breath, but in contempt. Yeah, over what's been done, which has to be restored. We want to awaken to remember the body, to restore the soul to the soul, to the greater body still. As we step out into the light of day, we awaken through Pluto to an island where the Elohim exist, so that we may walk into the gates of heaven consciously on earth as it is in heaven. Hallelujah. Yeah. Regardless of Rome or Paul or whatever, any other Timothy based bullshit that they're going to feed you. Protege to protege. It might as well be nepotism to nepotism, right? Peter denied the Lord 3 times. You think he could just get away with that and go into heaven? You think he is in heaven? No, Peter's at the gate. He's not allowed to enter therein until everyone who's written into the book of life enters therein first. And so he has a little agreement with the Mithrahead that we're going to write out people. We're going to erase them from the book of life. We'll even abort them and remove them from their life. That's written in their hand and their hand. Can you see? So the left hand is of the past. It receives. It's the mother, the matrix, the womb. It's the blackness. It holds all things that are of the light. That may be discarded as we see the past. And the right hand is the present, and it must be opened. Oh, the act of the pen. Signature. Agreement. For what? For futures. Now, we store our treasures in heaven, but these folks want to take their futures and have them here on earth now. Now, without the mother, they're not honoring the system, so the mother and the father have to come together again to create the true light, which is the future. Yeah, the it's an angle. Freemason, they like to use the square and the compass. They tried to teach us the truth, but they went down the wrong path to chaos. They're disbanded. They're gone. Dishonored. Forgotten. They're a joke. Laying all the books down like that. Placing themselves on rituals. Building the temples and doing all the things to fulfill only to go underground. Yeah. Arlington. Given white robes. Asked to wait just a little while longer while the same amount of them are killed likewise. Because they want to be avenged, don't they? So are they going to lift up the flag? Are they going to hold up the flag? Are they going to hold the Constitution? Are they going to step out of those graves and start facing the evil that exists at the highest level of this land? That the enemy is within, and it's called democracy. She is the harlot which rides upon the beast. She is the one that's drunk off the blood of the saints, the ones who say it ain't, the ones who gave their lives protecting her freedom, her liberty, her own justice, and then her constitution for for expanding through nepotism her own children. Even in the acting guild, even in Hollywood, if you're a child of a star, you shall be given a position in heaven. Same with them, the publicans. Publicans are the publishers. They're the tax collectors. These are all chains that bind them. They are. I saw what you wrote. Now tell me what I wrote. Yeah, and I'll remember. So thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope that made some sense without too much black magic woman. Because that's ludicrous, isn't it? No, she's the mother, the matrix. She's the woman. She's the support of all things. And the thing that's being stressed the most is to bring out the four winds. Yeah, hit me with those four winds. Doesn't really matter. The keys are switched. I'm turned around in the soul body. I always have been. I don't teach like Jonathan Kleck, who is the hypocrite playing it out. No, I don't do that. I'm the real deal. I, Ron, house of Manasseh, Ben Yosef, the son of perdition in the flesh. I carry a great message for humanity in any direction. It's only the engagement that has to happen. The engagement of the individual. You can call me out as blasphemer. You can call me out as being crazy or stupid or calling me bullshit. But I'm going to go on the attack. And because those who harm the elect shall be likewise killed. So it is. There's a purpose for this day, for the way, the truth, and the light. And they just want to destroy because they seek the king. And they don't have to do that. And they can rise up and sing. It's an old song sung as if it were any. So if you're on that wide path, if you're amongst the three religions, you must come out of her. Yeah, face the light of day. The Father has a message for you. By giving his only begotten Son, the devil has no choice. He must give up his only begotten Son, and you must remember. And this is the age as time, as an hourglass. Yeah. There's no getting away. There's no escape. No, you can't cover yourself anymore. They will cry out to the rocks, the hills, and the mountains to give them a covering, to hide them in fear of the face who comes, the child, because of the overspreading, because of their own works and their own deeds. That's what we face, and that's what I taste. But I can still smell. Okay, take care. And Judah, beware. I'm knocking on your door. Judah is black. There really are those who call themselves Jews who are not, but are of that sin of God. Magog, synagogue, Germany, Israel, false state, superiority, that's the statue, that's the idol. Now, as far as Judah, Judah's only idol is money. That's what's in their heart. It's true. But it stems to guns, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, and drugs and criminal activity. So, in order to achieve, you're pushed into a position of selling your own to slavery without even realizing it was by the hand of God that such a thing was done. Not by white man, not by Esau. Esau is Esau. You don't know the tree of life is bound. It's tied up. He's tied up on an island. He needs to be released. And so is he the Dajjal. That's what I was trying to get at the beginning of my talk. As I was watching Mar Mari, the bishop or supposed bishop of an orthodoxy, which is not. And he was attacked by a Muslim in the right eye. And he lost his eye. So they're being fulfilled by their own self, by their own hand. Mar Mari. It's not his real name. No, it's what he chose through ministry. The Mary, the Maria, yeah, the Virgin. She's the one who guards Esau. To you, it's Esau. You can't see beyond the living word. You can only choose the written. And it's infiltrated by Rome, by the hand of man. Paul lit a call. Yeah, he did. It is. It was. It is. What is, it's not, and yet shall be. It's all political. It's Paul lit a call. And it's Rome against the Anglican, which is the Protestant. It's true. And the war is in heaven. On it. We should bind the dragon by his own word. Yeah. And the beast does overcome the two witnesses. The false prophet goes into perdition. We all receive the lake of fire. It's a refining fire. It refines the gold and the silver. Okay, take care. Bye.